Hey everybody, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here doing a different type of video in response to Pen Boyroy's video on burnout, but also Leanne Likes did a video on burnout as well. And I thought it was just so timely that these videos are coming out because I've experienced it too. And I wanted to share a little bit about my experience, what caused my burnout, what were the symptoms of my burnout, and what helped me to get out of it. And when I say burnout, not burnout in terms of like everyday life, I mean burnout in terms of the fountain pen hobby. Yes, it actually exists. You can get burnout from the hobby that you really, really love. How? What caused my overwhelm in this hobby? Well, I'm looking down at my notes on my iPad, which is why I keep looking down. For me, first of all, there were 6 different things that caused my burnout in particular. First, it was really social media. Social media was, I have to credit social media for bringing me into the fountain pen community. It also sparked a lot of great relationships and friendships and connections. So I have social media to thank for a lot of great things, but social media also can get towards the negative end because it just overloads you with pens upon pens and products upon products all the time. And I know I'm also guilty of producing that content and putting out that content, and therefore taking in that content, all of that together caused part of my burnout. What else was there? The quick accumulation. There was, let's see, I've been in this hobby for maybe a little over 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years, I think, this September. And in that time, I have accumulated, but also sold and let go of quite a few pens. And the quick turnaround and the quick accumulation has led to me being able to try out different pens, but also it's getting to a little bit of an oversaturation in what I have and not being able to appreciate what I have. Then that leads to, there's lots of new releases coming out. There's always a limited edition. And actually, Stephen Brown also said he doesn't count it as a limited edition if there's 5,000 pieces of a pen. That doesn't sound limited. It's limited if maybe it's like 10 or 50. But to say that something is limited when it has 5,000 of them seems a little bit much. But there's always a new release coming out, always a new pen coming out. And that can be very, very overwhelming because it can lead to FOMO, fear of missing out. You see all of these new releases coming out and you think, I have to have the newest thing. I have to have the newest limited edition, the newest special edition, because you see that it's coming out, that you see that other people have it, and you think, this leads to a different thing actually, you think, I can't be the trendiest in this hobby if I don't have the trendiest pen. I'm gonna address that as well. And then that leads to, buying for content. I am guilty of that, not just in the fountain pen hobby, but in the planner hobby. Before I switched to the Hobonichi planner and before I switched to the Hemlock and Oak planner, I was part of the Happy Planner squad. And before I became part of the Happy Planner squad, I was buying things mostly to try and build up my content, build up my viewership, build up the number of followers that I had. And then when I became part of the squad, a lot of what we did was unbox the new products that we were getting from the Happy Planner all the time. And that led to basically getting product just to put out content. That leads to overwhelm. That led me to feeling burnout with the particular product, with the particular brand, because it felt like we weren't even given the chance to really enjoy the product. We were basically just getting the product, doing an unboxing, showing it off to people, and then that was it. That was where the views came from. That was where the following came from. So purchasing product or getting product just for content led to burnout. Then there's also the comparison with other people in the hobby. Social media is great for creating community and fostering those relationships, But then it also has that other side of it where you're looking at other people's collections all the time and you're thinking, oh, that person has that pen and I love it. Why can't I have that pen? Or that person has an amazing collection. What is it about their collection that I can't have? I can't afford it. What is it? And we're immediately just comparing and just comparing. And there's that saying, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. And I also learned, I was saying this to my daughter actually earlier today, saying that you cannot compare what somebody is going through, what somebody has, without looking at their whole life. When you look at just their, for example, their pen collection, you're not looking at, you know, their disposable income, how much they're paying for rent, how much they're paying for mortgage, you know, what their other circumstances are that allow them to have a collection like that. So you can't compare someone's collection to yours by just looking at that one piece of their life. You have to look at their overall life. I feel like I'm getting very philosophical here. But really, those are the 6 things for me that caused me to get a little bit of burnout. But also, timing-wise, I just did my taxes. And doing my taxes, I have my full-time job, and then I also have my sticker shop. And with my sticker shop, I feel like there's that fine line, or, you know, I'll call it my silver lining, that my sticker shop did really well, that I do have to owe taxes, and that's great. But then seeing what I have to owe in taxes made me kind of take a step back and think, you know, what is it that I'm spending my money on? Where can I cut some corners and things like that? So really, I think what broke the straw on the camel's back, let's say, was doing my taxes and looking at my finances that way. But that, in combination with these 6 things, so the quick accumulation, the buying for content, lots of new releases coming out, so the oversaturation of the market, social media, comparison with others, and the fear of missing out, all of those together caused this burnout. So what happened? How did the burnout manifest itself in me? Basically, I woke up one morning, and maybe it was just a buildup of this, but then really there was just this one day that I really remember where I really felt like I was burnt out. It was after watching PenChalet's video and also watching Tom Otto's 8 pen questions video and looking at his 10 pen collection and thinking and looking at my collection and going, what am I doing? What do I have and why do I have it? So I remember waking up one morning and I felt really, what is the word? Not dissatisfied. I just felt unsettled about my collection, about what I was acquiring. And at that point, I felt like I just wanted to sell off everything. I wanted to sell off everything. I wanted to return any pre-orders that I had. And there was a pen that I hadn't unboxed yet. I wanted to sell that off even before unboxing. It was one of those things where I'm like, I just wanted to get rid of everything. Of course, Lucy's gonna start barking right now. And I went through that during my planner phase as well, where at one point I had over 120 Happy Planner sticker books. And I thought to myself, I'm never gonna use all of these. And I downsized and destashed a lot of them. I did not do that with my pen collection though. And another symptom was I wanted to take a break from social media, because as I was scrolling social media and even looking at YouTube, I felt frustrated looking at the posts. I felt, oh my gosh, Lucy. I felt it was a mix of boredom and frustration when I was looking at social media, people's pen posts. And normally when I look at social media and I see people's pens, I can really appreciate how beautiful they are, the craftsmanship. I can also appreciate how happy that pen and that ink has made someone feel. And I love that. But on this day, I just felt frustrated by it all. And I mean, that led to boredom browsing. I felt like I was browsing just to browse. And I was even at that point where I almost felt like I was forcing myself to like something. I was looking through all the pens that were coming out, all the blanks that were available and forcing myself to like something. And that feeling was just, why was I doing that? And why was I forcing myself to like something? It was almost as if I was forcing myself to like something to get over the burnout. I was forcing myself to buy something to get over the burnout, which is definitely not the way to go. And there was just this huge overwhelm with all of the content online. And I know I'm guilty of producing that content as well. And I produce content on unboxings and currently inks and looking at ink explorations. And I share it with everyone because, one, I feel like I've created relationships with people out there who have similar interests. But for me as well, I'm creating content that I also like watching on the other end. So I love watching people's unboxings. The note on that is I feel like I watch people's unboxings of people that I really enjoy listening to. So I don't necessarily watch the unboxings just to look at the pen. Like the pen is almost the second part of the video, but I really like watching people's reactions and how they enjoy their pen and how they test their pen. And then the pen is kind of the co-star in that video. And I only really watch pen reviews if I'm researching a particular pen, but I like to watch unboxings because I like to watch the person who is doing the unboxing. And then, you know, the currently inked videos, I love seeing people's reactions when they do an ink. I like to see what people like. I like to see what people do with an ink, but I also like to hear people's stories. For example, Simona, I love watching her ink hauls or her ink swatches from friends because you get to know Simona from her videos. And it's not just about ink swatching, it's about, you feel like you're sitting there listening to a friend chat to you while you're swatching ink. And I really like that about those videos. You know, it's not for everyone. I know that there are people out there that are very scientific when it comes to fountain pen videos. They want to see a very specific review. They want to see, you know, specific ways that ink is tested and swatched. And I'm all for that, but everyone likes different content, and that's great because there's so many different content creators out there. But what I think, and I feel like I'm going off on a tangent, but what I think that social media has done to niche hobbies like fountain pens is that it has introduced fountain pens to a wider audience. And I feel that there are some who have been in the fountain hobby way before social media was even around, being almost inundated with people on social media who are just coming into the hobby in the last few years. And I feel like there's a difference between those who have come into the hobby via online and via social media versus those who have been in it through, you know, brick and mortar stores and pen shows and things like that. And that's okay. People are absolutely welcome in the fountain pen community, no matter what their collection looks like. And it doesn't matter if their collection is made up of just, you know, Pilot Kakunos or Twisbees or Platinum Preppies or Gin House. You don't have to own a Visconti Homo sapiens. I don't own a Visconti Homo sapiens. You don't have to own a Pelikan M800. You don't have to own any of these expensive pens to be part of this community. This was about burnout, and I've gone into a completely different direction. I'm also replying to a question that was put on Stephen Brown's video that he posted just recently, and someone had asked about being part of the fountain pen community. I feel like they weren't enough of a fountain pen hobbyist because they didn't have a certain pen. Please don't ever feel like you're not part of the community just because you don't own a pen that so-and-so has. If you have one fountain pen, even if it's a Pilot, I always say Pilot Kakuna because that's one of my favorites. If you have a budget fountain pen and you enjoy it, that's great. That's absolutely great. What I don't like is when people try to how do I say this tactfully? When people try to educate you in a nice way about the hobby, and I don't even know how I'm saying this. I think what I'm trying to say is that there are some people who feel like they can exclude others or make other people feel like they're not as worthy in the community because of the types of pens they own, because of their journey in the hobby. And I just think that's ridiculous. Like, if we all have a similar interest in the fountain pen hobby, then welcome. Let's talk about it. Where else can we all gather and just go crazy over pens and inks? So I was talking about my symptoms of burnout, but really these videos, seeing Pen Boy Roy's video about burnout and looking at my collection and just thinking, like, why do I have everything? That's what led to this. I looked at all my pens and I'm thinking, what is the point? What is the point? And I was overwhelmed with even what I had. So like, my symptoms were, I wanted to sell everything off. I had a pre-order that I wanted to cancel. Spoiler alert, I no longer want to cancel it. And I was then taken out of this burnout and helped out of this burnout by a few things. So what's helped me come out of my fountain pen burnout? Firstly, I made sure to sit with my feelings and journal about my feelings. I really needed to sort out what was going on and why I was feeling that way. And journaling really, really helps me. But also, it allowed me to use my pens. And then I had my friends, whether they were in person or online. The great thing about the internet and social media is that it has introduced me to other people in this hobby. I have friends that I speak to daily, and I know it's all online, but having that sense of community where you can vent your frustrations, you can talk about what's going on, and people understand and help walk you through it and talk you through it, has been so, so helpful. And then I've been able to focus on what I have and look at why it brings me joy. And I'm looking at my collection behind the camera, and I'm reconnecting myself with what I have. And then it was okay for me to take a step back. And taking a step back can be taking a break from social media, taking a break from consuming that content. Whatever you need to just take a break from what is stressing you out. I've had friends like Katie, for example, has said to me, if journaling is stressing you out, take a break. Something that brings you joy shouldn't stress you out doing it. So taking a break from the hobby, even if it's just not using your pens for a while, or maybe focusing on one pen that you're just using for utilitarian purposes, take a break, and it's okay to do that. And then, let's see. There was one specific Instagram reel, and I'm gonna find it and post it here. But this reel helped me see why the fountain pen hobby is what it is. And basically this Instagram reel compared somebody buying, a $1 coffee mug from Dollarama. And yes, it's utilitarian, it holds coffee, it's functional, but it's dang ugly. Compared to a $100 mug made by a local artist that still holds coffee, it has the same function, but this $100 mug was handmade and it brings so much joy. And that made me look at my pens in a whole new way. My pens do bring me joy. My inks bring me joy. My journaling brings me joy. And seeing that really helped me get out of my funk. It really helped get me out of my funk. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm processing as I'm doing this video. So if it's very long and very chatty, yeah. But really, at the end of the day, when it comes to fountain pen burnout, it does exist. It does exist. So be on the watch for it, be mindful of it, but also know that it's okay to feel that way, especially with how much information we're being inundated with on a daily basis. Being aware of it and know that it's coming, and know that it's okay. Know that it's okay to feel that. We feel burnout in other parts of our life and we come back from it. That doesn't necessarily mean that we step away from fountain pens completely. There's other ways that we can take care of ourselves and be able to still be part of the hobby if we so choose to. So I wrote out I said a script, but I wrote out like some talking points for today's video, and then I didn't come up with a conclusion. I'm here going blah, flailing, but I really just wanted to talk about my feelings of burnout, where they came from, how it manifested, how it helped, how I got out of it, and how I'm more aware of it. And I'm hoping maybe to just spark a little bit of a conversation down in the comments, but also if you've experienced anything like it, please know that you're not alone. It happens. I think with any hobby where there is a lot of information out there, there's a lot of consumerism involved with that particular hobby. And I feel like that's a separate thing. There is a lot of consumerism when it comes to fountain pens, inks, and journaling altogether. There is going to be some level of burnout in all of those types of hobbies, and that's okay. So I just wanted to post this video to talk my feelings out, but also to share this with anyone who might be going through this. And if you can relate to this video, then, you know, that was my whole purpose. So I also want to, before I go, repeat one thing that Stephen Brown said at the end of his video, is that, you know, I appreciate every person who takes the time to comment, but one note on that is please remember to be kind. We are people behind the camera, and yes, we are putting ourselves out there to the world, to the public, but that doesn't mean that we're not human behind the camera. We may not know you, but words can be harmful or hurtful. Just know that those who do take the time to comment and are wonderfully kind and supportive, your words mean so, so much. All right, that is it for me. I just want to chat this out. And when it comes to my chatty videos, I don't do them face-to-face a lot. But I felt like this was one where I felt like you really needed to connect with me as a person to know what I've been through, and hopefully this can help you too. All right, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. I'm laughing because my husband this morning was saying, hit that smash button, trying to be funny. And I'm like, it's not a smash button, it's the like button. So don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.